When people are born, the brain is the least developed organ in the human body at birth. Early experiences, especially those that occur during the first 3 years of life, will directly influence the way in which the brain develops.
Man, do you know how long it took me to get this stupid baby to go to sleep?
The lower regions of the brainstem and midbrain areas that regulate body temperature, heart rate, sleep patterns, and the stress response system, develop first. They are particularly susceptible to disruptions in the first months of a child's life. Stressful, neglectful, or abusive environments will activate the infant's stress response system and cause elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol.
My brain's not going to develop right. You're going to be sorry. I'm going to hold this against you.
Turn around.
The combination of an overactive stress response system and high levels of cortisol will affect the developing brain. High levels of cortisol will keep the stress response system turned on and may actually reduce the size of the brain because cortisol acts like an acid, washing over the brain. The brain is a use-dependent organ. Its development is patterned upon the repetitive experiences that are available in the environment. The child reared in a predictable, nurturing environment is more likely, barring genetic problems, to develop a highly organized brain that can process information. The two hemispheres are important in forming the mental model. The left hemisphere is largely responsible for, and responsive to, verbal conversation that occurs in a linear, logical fashion. The right side responds to the nonverbal components of the conversation, tone of voice, gestures, and facial expressions. When the verbal and nonverbal components are in agreement, bilateral, cross-hemispheres communication occurs, and an integrated picture of a safe world emerges. But when a caregiver's nonverbal communication contradicts the verbal, or vice versa, it creates chaos for the child, and bilateral development of the hemispheres is impeded. The ability to nurture a child emotionally, to connect at that level, is as important, if not more so, than nurturing the intellectual experiences of that child. The old saying, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure, pertains to the brain's development. If you raise your baby right, then the likelihood for that child's success as a happy, healthy, intelligent, well-adjusted human being increases greatly. If we understand the science behind the dysfunction all around us, we can fix the social problems of future generations. After all, don't you have a responsibility to your children and each other to do what is right? The critical windows of opportunity are fleeting. We have to get it right the first time and in the first few years of our child's life. I urge all of you as future parents to do it right or not at all. It is the single greatest responsibility we have in life. We owe it to ourselves and our children. The ability of the brain to develop a healthy cortical modulation ratio is impaired when key experiences are minimal or absent. This results in poor control of impulsivity and persisting, primitive, or immature emotional and behavioral functioning.
Hello, Daddy. Did you miss me? How about a little sand, man? Okay, slacker.
Emotional neglect. Lack of nurturing human interactions leads to problems with attachment and decreases the ability of the cortical regions to control impulsivity. The individual may lack the experience-based capabilities to feel remorse, to be empathetic or sympathetic. Cognitive neglect. Deprivation of enriching experiences inhibits the organization of the cortex. The cortex grows in size, develops complexity, makes synaptic connections, and modifies as a function of the quality and quantity of sensory experiences. Trauma. A child raised in an environment of persisting trauma, such as domestic violence, physical abuse, or community violence, will develop an excessively active and reactive stress response system. The majority of stress response systems reside in the brainstem and midbrain. These areas of the brain develop first and are designed to be hard to modify after the initial patterns are set, before the end of a child's 3rd year.
I'm calling social services.
Neglect and trauma. The combination of a lack of critical emotional experiences and persistent traumatic stress leads to a dramatic alteration in the brain's modulation and regulation capacity.
I'll never get out of the 7th grade. I'll never get into high school. I'm never going to college. I'll never be able to buy Blondella a ring. I'll never get a decent job. I'll never find my parents, ever.
You couldn't raise a stuffed animal.
And I'll never be able to get this stupid baby to shut up.
Slacker.
I swear, if I had a time machine, I would go back in time and have a really, really long talk with my parents.
Time machine there. You just happen to be in luck. I got the time machine owner's manual in the mail this morning. To the lab. Hey!
A baby is constantly assessing whether his cries for food and comfort are ignored or lovingly answered, whether he is powerless or can influence what adults do. If his needs are only met sporadically, and pleas for comfort are usually ignored or met with harsh words and rough handling, The infant will focus his energies on ensuring that his needs are met. He will have more and more difficulty interacting with people and objects in his environment, and his brain will shut out the stimulation it needs to develop healthy cognitive and social skills.
Smell my hair. The child you describe will be busy trying to survive. His brain will be focused on his basic needs for being soothed and comforted.
A common myth that many Americans have is that you can spoil a child by responding to his cries. In fact, 1-year-olds whose mothers responded in a nurturing way to their cries usually cry less than 1-year-olds who receive less responsive care. Babies whose cries are met with consistent nurturing seem to gain confidence in their ability to affect their world.
Isn't he cute?
Many people find the notion of time travel absurd. Don't listen to her. It hasn't been set ahead since daylight savings time, so we'll just add an hour. Or is it subtract an hour?
I have to object. The last time you went back in time, you left the river dancers there.
That was on purpose, but their ancestors carried on and they're back with a vengeance, so no big whoop-de-doo.
Hey, there's a warning on this piece. Congressmen wanting to go back in time and fix lapses in judgment must be accompanied by an adult.
You really should use a helmet when you skateboard. Brain damage can result if you fall and hit your head on a hard surface.
But with him, how would you tell?
Hey, just because I can't get out of the 7th grade doesn't mean I don't know when I'm getting dissed. You're still mad about those candy sprinkles, aren't you?
Oh, he holds a grudge.
Do not.
Do too.
Dude, it's so obvious you two are in love with each other. I mean, what are you just gonna go on forever pretending the chemistry isn't there?
What do you know, Mr. 7th grader for life?
Alright, but just chill with the antagonistic routine you two put on. It's getting kind of old.
Good luck. Don't forget to slow down in school zones. The more time you spend near school, the better.
Ready?
Yes.
Touch the ball.
Mom? Dad? Mom, Dad, it's me, Slouch Jr. Look, we need to talk. Dad, I know how much you're gonna hate rap music, but I need to reach your subconscious for some vital statistics. And I figure, what better way to drum this into your head than with drums? Now, my friends from the future helped me make this music video, and I admit it's a little cheesy, and they made me do it, but hopefully it should make my life a little better in the future.
We all seek reward in a number of ways, from a pat on the back to a minimum wage. From a favorite dessert to a drugged up high, better think about it. I'm gonna tell you why. Someday you're gonna have kids. It seems far off till they're rolling in the crib. But the way you treat your babe will set the stage for tomorrow's age. There's 10 major things that we all need to grow up strong and sprout like a seed. The little ones need your loving touch, caress and cuddle and coo and such. Loving starts with the look in your eyes. The child must see that you don't despise. The weak, frail frame that starts us all needs constant care. You gotta answer the call. Now is the time to sing and laugh. Talk to the shorty while the time goes past. Play lots of music but not too loud. Put the time in now and later you'll be proud. It sounds so easy but it may not be, cause your baby takes work as you will see. Attention from you almost all the time. In the middle of the night you still gotta be kind. It's a tragic story when a brain is not used and it's been shut out or badly abused, but there's always room in which to grow, so the choice is yours which frame you show. Please stay with me cause this is true. The cycle of action can be made brand new. It's all about what we all must try to do when there's a little shorty who's attached to you. So when you see a daughter or a son, you've got to care for the needs brought on, to love and care and hold and touch, cause what you do now really means that much. Get connected with your fellow human beings. We were all made to send and receive. Use your brain for all that you do, and if you're not, it's still waiting for you.
Mom, Dad, I got something to tell you guys. In the future, I flunked the 7th grade like 6 times that I know of already. And I know the science of brain development wasn't taught in your olden day schools, so I don't blame you. But the future is now. So please, try a little bit harder, for my sake. Wire my brain right, and I promise to make the most of my new life. Oh, and one more thing. Thanks a lot. I'll pay you back after I graduate high school.
We're gonna be parents?
And that is how they discovered rocket science.
I wonder how our friend Slouch did with his parents.
Come in.
Greetings, Slouch.
Hey, you guys. Listen, I just came by because I wanted to thank you guys.
You're graduating the 7th grade?
No, I'm graduating high school on time. I just got one more favor to ask. Can you help me write my valedictorian speech?
A fellow valedictorian!
I was valedictorian too. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I was pretty good at gym.
So our rep worked.
The time machine worked.
Thank you guys, man. I don't know how I would have did it without you guys.
Oh, this is so wonderful. I am so happy.
Come in.
There you are. We've been looking all over for you.
Can I borrow the time machine again? Please?
No, he hit it with his big hammer again.
I was trying to fix it.
Oh, there's that horrible odor again.
I think he wants to see his dad.
Oh no.
What?